Ow.
I once knew a boy who would just stand there and stare. At anyone or anything. He seemed not to care. He'd stare at the ground. He'd stare at the sky. He'd stare at you for days and you'd never know why. But after winning the local staring contest, he finally gave his eyes a well-deserved rest.
Rings and the students pile into the fluorescent-lit hallways, school starts, and the educational programs of the day begin. Some of the students here are from foreign countries and have traveled miles to receive an American education. They are put into the system with the expectation that they will adapt and excel to the system.
We give them about 3 to 5 years to become proficient enough in English to take our standardized tests. And for the majority of those students, I think that's plenty of time.
When I come to USA, I speak a little English. Now I speak better.
Some students come from some places close to America, like close to the border from Mexico and United States, to give an example. Those are very adjusted. I mean, they even know a few words in English they probably use in their hometowns.
When an ESL student is put into our education system, they are immersed or immediately put into English classes with no bilingual support. Is this the best method to educate these students?
When a person is totally immersed in a language and a culture, it probably does make them and require them to learn the language faster if they want to get around, if they need transportation. And the only way to do it is to learn the language. And so I do think that it forces people to learn the language faster. But I don't think that's the best way to learn, to get educated.
They speak or spell wrong, so the children is got some they can't speak like preparing American school.
As these students come from different walks of life and from all around the globe, does culture play a part in how well a student learns?
I don't think any one culture values any education any less than any other culture. I think it's the school culture. Do you have high expectations of your students as a school and of your teachers? That's the culture that matters. That's the culture I think that produces excellence.
When students who are not proficient in English are immersed into our education system, they're exempt from standardized testing for 3 years. After these 3 years, the bar is raised and the expectations are greater. Is 3 years enough?
I think if I have more ESL time, I can speak English more than now.
I'm doing better
and if I stay in ESL, it's not gonna help me do better when I go to regular classes.
With the current education system, are we doing these students a service or a disservice? Does the system help these students progress well into society?
I think I'm not ready for high school because I think I have to learn more vocabulary words.
I'm not ready for high school because high school only speak English, not Spanish.
History is now showing us that there are great numbers of people who this is not their native country and English is not their native language, who have become extremely successful.
While many adults think that the system is doing justice for the immigrant students, some of these students are still lacking the confidence of moving on to the next step. As these students pack their bags and board the buses to go home, is confidence the only obstacle, or should there be some adjustments in our education system?
Why are we afraid of death? Why do we fear the one thing that we must all eventually face? It's ironic, really. I fear death. The beauty of life is just too much to leave behind.
Want to make quality movies that don't bore people to death with questions about life? Want to stop the camera from shaking in every shot? And what about that omnipresent pull focus we have all seen about 1,000 times? Well, there's a solution. Introducing Lindulman Film School, where you can learn to be a real director instead of talking about your feelings.
Oh, hi there. I'm Jake Dillman, President and co-founder of Lindulman Film School. Please visit the website below me. Let Lindulman knock that crappy indie filmmaker nonsense right